I'm Aaron Wiltshire, Head of Projects at ETOA, the European Tourism Association, the lead organisation delivering the Partnerships in European Tourism programme on behalf of the European Commission, alongside the European Travel Commission and ETOA. This is the pre-departure webinar ahead of the Shanghai edition of the Partnerships in European Tourism programme. During this webinar, I'll provide an overview of the events taking place in Shanghai on the 15th and 16th of November, which includes a conference on film and TV tourism and a matchmaking workshop bringing together European businesses with operators from the Chinese market. This is all against the backdrop of the China International Travel Mart, CITM, in Shanghai, where the European Commission will have a stand. I hope that this webinar provides helpful information which will allow you to prepare for your time in Shanghai. The agenda of this webinar is as follows. I'll start by going through the chronology of the events and highlighting any practical items to be aware of. I'll provide an introduction to the host exhibition in Shanghai, the China International Travel Mart. I will then go through the tools available to you before and during the events in Shanghai, followed by a roundup from two of the participants at a past edition of the Partnerships in European Tourism event. They will provide first-hand advice of how to approach such events and how to make the most of them. I'll then provide a summary of your colleagues who will be also travelling to China for this event. One of the major aspects of this programme is not only selling your product directly to target markets, but also to encourage the development of commercial and thematic partnerships between European businesses, with the aim at capitalising on your similarities and providing market advantage. I'll then present an update on the Chinese buyers who are attending the event in Shanghai. We hope this will help you focus your mind on the appropriate appointment selections based on the type of profile and the operator's presence. We'll also hear a testimony from a Chinese operator letting you know how to make the best of your time with them. We'll then have a Q&A session so you can pose any questions you have about the event in Shanghai on practical matters or indeed anything on the advanced preparation for the event. The appointment preference system is now open. I'll talk more about this shortly, but please remember that the system is open for your preferences until Friday the 2nd of November. You'll then receive your provisional appointments by the 8th of November, allowing you to start preparing for your meetings. You'll then receive your final appointments list on the day of the event itself, all being well with no or minimal changes from your provisional list. On practical matters, my colleague Karine will have been in touch and she can assist you if you have any other questions. You're being hosted at the Crown Plaza Century Park Hotel in Shanghai. The conference and the business matchmaking will then both take place at the Jumeirah Himalayas on the 15th, and then the CITM exhibition kicks off at the Shanghai New International Conference Centre on the 16th. Your accommodation is booked for the nights of the 14th and 15th of November. You'll need to have arrived in Shanghai by Wednesday the 14th. The next morning registrations opens at the Jumeirah Himalayas at 8:30 in the morning, with the conference starting at 9 o'clock until 11:30. We'll then move on to the matchmaking room for an hour's worth of appointments before lunch. We'll then continue the workshop between 2 p.m. and 5:15. The appointments are 40 minutes in duration, slightly longer than usual to accommodate for interpretation requirements. On the morning of Friday the 16th, you can access the China International Travel Mart, where the European Commission will have a stand alongside other exhibitors. If you have any questions about the running order or practicalities, please submit them now or throughout the webinar. Now for some information on the China International Travel Mart. The China International Travel Mart is one of the largest professional travel shows in Asia, organised by the Chinese Ministry of Culture and Tourism, the Civil Aviation Authority of China and the Shanghai Municipal Government. The exhibition is an annual event held in Shanghai and Kunming alternatively. Participants come from all sectors of the travel industry, including international and domestic tourist organisations, agencies, hotels, airlines and related travel companies. Exhibitors and visitors have many opportunities to meet the professionals from the tourism industry and establish new business contracts and contacts with each other. Specialised symposiums and lectures allow delegates to trace the latest developments in trends of international tourism. Press conferences and cultural performances will be held throughout the mart to fully display the exhibitors' new tourism products. The European Commission stand is 4A30, so we'll see you there from Friday the 16th. The success of events such as that in Shanghai is based largely on your preparation. You will have received your login to the appointment system. This tool allows you to select and rank Chinese operators with whom you would like to meet at the matchmaking. You'll have until the 2nd of November to complete these selections, upon which time the system will close and the matchmaking process will begin. Remember, you are making your selections, as are your counterparts. Both sets of preferences are taking into account. Ahead of the matchmaking, you will receive your preliminary appointments, which will allow you to prepare for your meetings. There may be some slight changes before the day of the event, when you will receive your final printed version of your schedule upon registration. From our experience, the best advice we can provide to you are: be open and receptive during the meetings, even when areas of mutual interest might not be immediately obvious. Make the most of your 14-minute slot. Remember that your appointments are based on your preferences as well as those of your counterpart buyers. They may want to see you. For the Chinese market, the buyers from China are looking for a new product directly from the suppliers. Show them what you can offer to make their tools different from the competition. Don't worry about the language barrier. All of the buyers either speak English or will have an interpreter with them. A Chinese version of your company description will be prepared in the event directory and will be provided on individual bilingual copies. Use these as a basis for your conversations. As a real-life example of what to expect, I've got two testimonies from recent attendees at the Macau edition of Partnerships in European Tourism. Wouter de Vries from DAMREP and Michael Cater from Compass and Cumming will now go through their approaches in making the most of such events.
Hi, I'm Wouter de Vries. I am the owner of DAMREP, which is a DMC in Amsterdam. We are specialized in handling mostly Indian travelers, traveling to Amsterdam, Brussels, Paris, Switzerland, and the western part of Germany as well.
Okay, when you come to an event like this, before you get here, what the approach do you take when you make your appointment selections?
So I was looking for similarities in the clients that I have at the moment as well. So mostly I work with travel companies specialized in the MICE market, and that's where I made the selection for as well when I was looking for the appointments.
And how about finding the right operators for you? Is it in terms of group size, in terms of segments? When you're looking down the list, really what are you looking for to match your company profile?
It was mostly looking for the segments to see if there were any similarities with what I was doing at the moment. And second, I was also looking at the size of the company itself and also the area where they were coming from.
And then when you're here at the matchmaking event, how do you approach your 14-minute slot? How do you make the most of that time and the additional networking opportunities?
So first I introduce myself, then I firstly ask the person whom I'm speaking to what their company is about, and afterwards I basically customize the story that I have about my company on this.
Do you have anything else to add? Any great advice that you?
Well, no, I would like to thank the European Commission for organizing all of this. It's been a great event. The hotels have been great. Macau itself has been very lovely as well. And yeah, just thanks for having me.
We're a DMC, destination management company, inbound operator, receptive operator. There are so many names, but basically we're taking care of those coming into Germany. Both into leisure and in the MICE segment. We operate since 1974 with 4 offices all over Germany, and now starting having a closer look at the Chinese market, luckily.
So when you come to do a workshop like this, what approach do you take when making your appointment selections, when you go onto the system to make your choices?
Well, of course, I have a look on the information which are provided, and then I decide on those, let's say, having like 50% on the leisure segment and 50% on the MICE segment. So we are covering both parts. Yeah.
And then kind of beyond that, what personally for your business is the right profile of operator for your business, or are you kind of flexible, or are you looking for a particular type of operator?
We are looking well for those who are doing both groups and FRTs, and we are also very much interested in working with special interest tour operators, because we feel this is one of our strengths. If it's regarding special musicians in Germany, or if it's about architecture, if it's about culinary, everything which helps the tour operator to differentiate themselves, and this is something what we're looking for as well.
Great. And when it comes to the matchmaking event itself, when you're meeting face to face, is there any particular advice you would give in how to make the most of your 14-minute appointment slot?
Well, what turned out to be really helpful is the Mandarin translation, which has been provided by the ETOA, and I hand this over in the very beginning so that the Chinese buyers immediately have a very compromised summary of the information of what we are doing, and then I continue afterwards with my explanations in English. But I feel that this very much short information helps them basically to understand what we are doing.
And then, if you have anything else to add, then...
Well, I think it's very well organized here, the entire event. It's definitely what the company is looking for, simply not much politics around that, or huge welcome receptions or whatever. It's about business, doing business, meeting and talking to those who are looking for inbound partners, and so yeah, it's great to be here.
Many thanks to Walter and to Michael for their input. We'll have similar testimony from a buyer's perspective shortly. Before the matchmaking workshops start, we'll host a conference reflecting the business profile and the delegates selected to attend Shanghai, the theme of which is the lure of Europe in China as portrayed in film and TV. On your screen now is the conference agenda. European tourism businesses are attending partnerships in European tourism Shanghai, representing products from across EU member states and neighbourhood countries. The business types coming to Shanghai represent a varied spread which is well matched to the requirements and expectations of the Chinese buyers, and within the thematic approach linked with the lure of film and TV and travel inspired by it. Suppliers are representing product offers matching these events. The majority of the European operators attending Shanghai come from the following segments: tourism and business services, attractions, ground handlers and local tour operators, DMCs, hotel accommodation services. Amongst these, the likes of the Cannes Tourist Board, Film France, Game of Thrones Territory, Theatre Workout and the Bergbahn and Solden among examples of those who are kind of really linked with film locations. The full list of businesses coming to Shanghai can be found via eutravelpartnerships.org. Partnerships in European tourism is not only focused on links between Chinese and Europeans, but also in supporting intra-European cooperation and partnerships. Shanghai will give you an opportunity to meet and make connections with colleagues in the European tourism industry. Routes, networks, regional and transnational groups are represented in a number of ways which may have interest to you and your business development. Suppliers coming to Shanghai are members of existing transnational organisations as diverse as Discover Balkans, the Baltic Sea Tourism Centre, and the Medicinal and Aromatic Plant Pathways across Europe, Mirabella network of lesser-known UNESCO heritage sites. The conference will be moderated by a representative from Euroscreen, the Association of European Film Boards. Amongst your number are a number of inbound operators, ground handlers, DMCs, and wholesalers whose business model is made on commission and cooperation with destinations. Make sure to make the most of the mutual networking opportunities to connect with them in order to take your product to market. Check out the resources in the Partnerships in European Tourism website to discover how to reach out and form partnerships with your European colleagues. We provided a template in order to help formalise any arrangements you come to. We have invited Chinese buyers representing the Chinese market, not only based in the economic centre of Shanghai, but also from Beijing and provinces including Guangdong, Sichuan, Hunan and Shandong. Operators attending Shanghai represent outbound business to Europe from a small scale of only a few hundred clients upwards in excess of 1 million packs per year. Operator types span FIT, groups, MICE and wholesale. In line with the theme of Shanghai, operators provide product related to film-related travel. The operators are interested in independent attractions, businesses and properties, as well as inbound wholesalers such as DMCs and destination representatives. In addition to the key target European destinations popular with first-time visitors, the operators are also interested in new and lesser-known destinations. Detailed profiles and objectives of all buyer operators will be available to study in a guide published when you are invited to submit your appointment requests. I now hand over to Céline, Director of Starway Travel, who attended the recent PET event in Macau. She'll provide an outline of their company requirements and provide information of how best to engage with similar companies, such as when you go to Shanghai for the matchmaking.
Hi, I'm Celine, based in Hong Kong. With Starway Travel Limited, I work in branch firm in Shenzhen, and we focus on hair and tour, on art, why architecture, history, basically because all the film invest on the art workshop with cooperated with the art institution in Shenzhen. From time to time, we organize a friend trip for our students to study abroad. Cultural history friend trip is our recent plan to France and Italy to visit recently. Some tour on maybe family tour and around 4 and 5%. Yeah.
What kind of suppliers are you looking for?
I hope their quality the tour. Yes, I think this is quality and the service is a very important part. Yeah.
And when you go to a networking event,
yeah,
what can suppliers do to make the most of your time and to get your attention?
I think this time is very good because one by one I can know the company and I can see they are the professional and introduce which supplier is good for, and also I think it's very experienced and already I think looking for the supplier. Okay. Yes.
And what about materials in Chinese? Is that useful for you to have prepared for the suppliers?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, everybody, that brings us to the close of the kind of content part of the webinar. So now it's open for any question and answers. So on your screen now, you can see that there's a little tab there to submit any questions to me. So this is your moment to either ask me about the schedule of the time or anything about the program in Shanghai. So do let me know. Use the question and answer section there. Does anybody have any questions? Just to let you know that we will probably be arranging a transfer from your hotel to the venue, so don't worry about that. There's more kind of background information on the Chinese market and how to deal with that. There's a lot of stuff on eutravelpartnerships.org, including reports and webinars and the speeches from the previous events as well. So just let us know if you have any questions. Don't know. Nothing just as yet. Going, gone. Okay. Joel asks, are we able to edit the information we sent for the bilingual document, or has it been done? So at the moment, we are waiting for the translations back. We'll send them out for you to check, but we'll have to do that very quickly. So they are due back sometime this week. That was all based on your registration details, so it comes from your side. But as soon as we send them out, please let us know. I'll take a note, Joel, of your name, and we'll see what we can do with that. But we haven't had it back from the translators yet. So I hope that answers your question. How many one-to-one meetings can you expect? So we are doing a half-day workshop from the afternoon. So we're doing about an hour's worth, and that's 4 appointments before lunch. And then we're back from lunch, and then we'll be going from 2 o'clock until just past 5 o'clock, and it's 4 appointments an hour. As I said, they're 14 minutes in duration, which is a bit longer than we usually do, just to allow for interpretation requirements. So we extended that based on feedback from previous events. So you'll see fewer request options than that, because we give you around half to 2/3 of the options to select, and then obviously your counterpart, the Chinese buyers, have around the same amount. So we don't give you the same number of requests as appointments, otherwise the system wouldn't work, because they're based on both the suppliers interested in which buyers, and then on the flip side, the operators picking the suppliers as well. So we do it on a dual basis on that respect. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, anybody, any more questions coming through? I hope you managed to view the webinar with success without any issues. So I'll be sending out the link to the recording just in case you want to play it back, maybe on your way over in a few weeks' time when you're coming to Shanghai. If not, I will leave it there. I'll just give you a few more moments. I can still sort of see some of those people in there. Here we go, another one. Will there be opportunities to at least network with the buyers, though there's no one-to-one meetings? So there are one-to-one meetings. You'll be assigned the pre-assigned appointments. That's completely scheduled. You will have your face-to-face based on the schedule with all the buyers that you've been successfully matched with. The buyers are seated. So if you don't manage to match, you'll at least be able to find out where they are and then find them during one of their free slots. So typically the buyers have, and actually at this event, given the ratio of buyers to suppliers, most people will be pretty full, so it's going to be a good event for everybody. But you'll be able to identify where those buyers are sat if you haven't been matched with them, and then go and find them. And then if you have time, maybe they're attending the CITM exhibition as well, you might arrange to meet them on the European Commission stand, which will be available for people to kind of have ad hoc meetings. But the morning is the conference, and then from midday bar lunch into the evening, you'll have pre-assigned one-to-one meetings with the operators for 14 minutes in duration. Okay, I think that covers that. There you go. My pleasure. No more questions coming in. I really want to make sure that you all feel comfortable with the plans. So as I said, myself, I'm available, and Karine back in London is available via email. I'm sure you've received plenty of things from her. Make sure that you've got your accommodation confirmation, everything you need from us for the visa requirements. So we can provide the accommodation reservation for you there. We'll send out information about the transfers as well. Any advice with regards to the business etiquette? I think there's some videos on that in terms of on the resources available on the portal. I would say really it's not really that much different from business meetings you'd undertake in Europe. So I'm still here in Macau, where we did our B2B networking for PET Macau 2 days ago, and it's pretty much identical to just bar the interpreters. As I said, they take up a little bit more of the time, so we've extended the meeting request. But I think you may have read up on business card etiquette. It's just a kind of matter of paying attention to the business cards once you've hand them over with 2 hands. Just kind of take a moment to have a look at it before just kind of putting it in your pocket. But apart from that, it's very convenient. Friendly group of buyers that we have lined up for you, so there's no need to be intimidated on any kind of cultural issues. I don't think it's very professional and probably much what you're used to here in Europe. But it's probably about the follow-up actually that would be the most important thing. So if you, before you go to China, if you're not already established on WeChat, I'd really suggest that you create an account on WeChat. As you may know, that when you're in China, a lot of the Western social media groups and apps may not work. WeChat is really the go-to place for any communication in China. So you may, one of the things that I've kind of definitely discovered during this project is that the follow-up and then feedback and then eventual kind of management of business with Chinese operators, it's very important to have very quick response. So it's not maybe based on email and kind of slow turnover, it's very immediate is the requirement. So if you have a WeChat account, that's the best way of doing it, because it's much like the messaging systems we use typically in Europe and the rest of the West, but it's the China version of that. So that's where a lot of business is done. Here in China, where I am now, I'm using that a lot to communicate with my Chinese partners. So I definitely suggest that you arrange WeChat before you leave. Also, that helps you kind of keep in touch with friends and family. How long is the match meetings? The meetings are 14 minutes in duration, as I've said. I just had another question through. I will just need to check off the top of my head exactly how long the schedules are, because we've been doing various different events. I can't remember off the top of my head, but we're doing an hour before lunch, and then 3, 4, 5, another 3¼ hours, so 4¼ hours of meetings with 40 minutes in duration. So it's a good block. And how many, as you said, we'll send you the provisional ones in advance based on your and your counterparts' selections. So you'll be able to have a look at them, and then kind of start preparing for those meetings based on what you understand of those companies. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Mia. Any final questions? No, I think that's it for the webinar. As I said, I'll send out everybody the link to this, and then we look forward to seeing you in Shanghai. Myself and my colleagues will be there a few days in advance to start preparing, and Karine will be back in the office in London. So as I said, if you have any questions, please just let us know, and we can aim to sort that out for you. Okay, many thanks, and good luck preparing for your meetings and your trip to Shanghai. Many thanks.